I'm seeing a lot of liberals come over the fucking land, come over the fence. A lot of them. And that's a good thing. And my social media platform, I bitch and rant every day. And I've been saying lately, I'm like, do not fucking gloat when one of your Democratic liberal friends comes over and says, I've seen a light. Do not gloat. We don't want to fucking gloat. After the election, we're fucking gloating. But for now, just get them over here. Get them over, because it's so fucking bad. It's so stupid. And a lot of these liberals that I've known for so long, they're so intellectual and well-read. And, we were always the primitive, ogre, knuckle-dragging, conservative, flag-waving fucking idiots. And now they're the fucking knuckle-draggers. Let me bring this up. As an artist, liberalism, okay? Again, I'm 57. I remember the 60s and 70s. But a liberal back in the day was that fucking hippie with the beard and the beads, and he stunk, and he smoked pot, and he put flowers in rifles, and he loved all art and free expression. They're gone. The new liberal is the new fascist. They're the ones that hate. They're violent. Violence, I get so much violence against me. I'm not a violent person. I'll defend myself. I've been in many bar fights. Not a tough guy, but I will defend the fuck out of myself. But they're the new fascists. They're the ones tearing down the artwork now. They hate art. They're violent. You see how fucking sad how it switched?
Well, I don't think it ever really, I don't think it's switched. I just think people were exposed for who they really are.
Transformed.
Right?
It transformed.
Like people, especially the progressives, but the establishment liberals are responsible for a lot of the bullshit that's happened in this country over the last 60 years or so. Like in the 20th century, every single war we were in was started by or joined by a Democrat, right? That's a matter of public record. You can look that shit up.
Well played.
But it's always been, the right has always been more focused on leave me alone. Like I'm cool. I like this country. Go do whatever you want. Leave me alone. And then with Newt Gingrich in the early 90s, that piece of shit, it turned into this fucking family first shit, which is really just code for now Republicans want to get involved in your day-to-day life. Like, no, we don't want you involved either, bitch. Like, just leave us alone. Let us do what we want to do. You know what I mean?
Listen, here's why we're at where we're at right now. It's this fucking simple. We left and right, let's just break it down. Left and right, liberal, conservative, whatever. That's what this country is. And we sometimes, like in the 60s or whatever, we went a little up left, and then the 80s, we went right and so forth. But eventually we always meet in the middle. The problem is the last 7-8 years or so, the left made the mistake of going too far left, way the fuck out there. And therefore what you did was wake up, like you said, those people, the conservatives, the working people, the gears that keep this fucking machine going, who are always fucking quiet. Like I said, I don't give a fuck who you're fucking, what gender you are. I don't care. But when you're going to send a 7-foot guy, hairy motherfucker with a skirt in to the bathroom where my 6-year-old girl is, I got a fucking problem with that. Just one example. So they woke up these people who did not want to fucking be aggressive and confrontational. And here we are. Hence, the only reason that Trump got elected was that exact reason.
Well, it was going to be some populist. And it's the reason that Bernie Sanders was so popular back then as well, is because people are tired of people like fucking Mitt Romney and Hillary Clinton and George Bush and people like that whose entire life has been about politics. Like politics is not a job. It is a service to your country.
It is for a lot of people, though.
No, it is for most people that are involved in it.
Yeah.
And, that's a big problem. Politicians are all cunts, obviously. So.
Obviously. Are you a type of guy that watches, like, the State of the Union address? Tomorrow night, Biden is going to do the State of the Union. Do you watch that and get ideas for art afterwards?
I think I think Netflix should have given him, like, a Chappelle-style deal, because this is going to be one of the best comedy shows we've seen in years. Watching this bumbling retard stand up there and try to explain the fucking, it's like Baghdad Bob back in the day at the early part of the Iraq invasion.
Yeah.
Where the entire country is on fire. There's American tanks in the background. He's like, it's all good. We're doing great, guys. So what the fuck is he going to say?
Well, I'm glad you brought that up. Earlier this morning, they said they had to change the speech, and they've got to go. They're saying they're focusing a little bit more on Ukraine and Russia. I'm wondering how he's going to be able to do it for those things usually run close to 2 hours. Bob, what's the longest one? I know Trump gave a pretty long
There's probably
one.
somebody under the podium just injecting them with B12 and crystal meth the whole time.
Yes, yeah.
It's got to be. But does that help your art? Like, do you watch tomorrow night and then immediately wake up in the morning and do something afterwards? Go ahead, Bob.
Yeah.
Sorry, the
longest one was what, Bob?
the longest State of the Union address was an hour and 28 minutes. That was Bill Clinton.
Okay.
In 2000. Yeah.
So I haven't seen Biden do any more than, I think, 30, 35 minutes tops. If he's running at an hour and 20 minutes, do you watch something like this and then pick things from it to create the next day?
Yes, every moment, everything I see, everything, it's endless. It's like there's 90% of artists always have, I don't know what a block is. I don't know what a creative block is. If I could live to 100 million years, I will have that many ideas to complete. And right now, it's just fucking candy for me. It's candy. Even when it's good, it's candy. You know, my main objective is just preaching about the good things about this country, our veterans, our military, our first responders, why this country's great. And then there's this side where the ugly fucking art comes out of me, which is about this fucking rickety old skittle eating tool bag. You know, yes, inspiration. Fucking A. Fuck yeah.
Was the word tool bag in there? I thought I heard
Tool bag.
Oh, tool bag.
Yeah.
Okay.
Rickety old
Tool bag.
skittle-eating tool bag.
Yeah, I was going to say, if you threw another scrotum on him, that's amazing.
A New Yorker that's an Italian American and a patriot is going to be able to string together some pretty creative insults because you have to
That's
be able
one
to
of
do
my
that as a
biggest
child.
fans. My fans love that. You know, I just come up with something so fucked up and they'll be like, I can't believe you said that. And I'll look at it. I'll look back and I'm like, did I actually fucking call her a fucking inside out tree frog Beetlejuice? The Chicago mayor.
Yeah,
Lightfoot.
Beetlejuice.
Shit just comes out. It's part of being an artist. It just fucking comes out. It is what it is.
Usually when you take political office, you do age rapidly, but you don't change into an entirely different character.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? She
Yeah.
started out as like a fucking side character in Beetlejuice and became Beetlejuice. That's a weird transition, honestly.
That's what happens. Since you brought up Trump a couple times during the show already, let me ask you, do you think he runs in 2024?
No. And honestly, I was one of his biggest supporters. I mean, outspoken, he called me one time because I built this thing on this friend of mine's lawn, this giant T, representing him, and somebody burnt it down. And it was a worldwide story. And he called, we were, because we reached out to the campaign. He wound up calling. And the first thing he said was, first of all, I'm not so happy that you're more famous than me right now. Opened up with a joke. It was great. The ego joke. It was fucking funny as hell. He goes, you're all over the fucking news. You're more happy. You're more famous than I am. And then whatever. And I said, don't worry about it, Mr. Trump. I'm building it again. I'm working on it right now. It's going to be twice the size. It's going to be huge. And he got a kick out of that. But with that, I get asked that a lot. And I honestly, I get a lot of heat because, again, being a huge Trumper, I just loved who he was. I loved that he was like, well, Scott, I like him too, but he should stop saying it. I said, no, he's talking to us. Obama spoke eloquently, but he did nothing. It's not what a man says, it's what a man does. And that's what I fucking loved about him. He didn't give a fuck because he had no other platform. He didn't have media. Nobody had no platform. So he had his own fucking platform. And I loved that he didn't have a filter. I loved it. I didn't love everything he said. I don't like anything everybody says. But back to the point. I think he did what he had to do. He was there for us, for the people at the right moment. But I think there's some other big players that are just as powerful as him, just as leading, a good leader like DeSantis. I think DeSantis would fucking kill it. If he was on a ticket, if he runs, I'm still going to, support him. But I think it would just make things more ugly because of the divisiveness of the fucking left and how, it's still today. They blame him for fucking everything. Yeah, it's just insane.
Ridiculous.
That's why Joe Biden got elected. They hated him.
There was some lady
just to get rid of Trump.
There was some lady on MSNBC, and I'm going on Tucker early next week to talk about it, this fucking lunacy. But this woman on MSNBC was saying that Trump was installed as president to intentionally weaken NATO. Like, what the fuck are you talking about? He went to then I think it was in Germany, in Munich. He went to this NATO meeting and was like, hey, why are you guys buying all this oil from Russia? Like, you're fucking yourselves over. Why are you not paying your fair share into NATO like you said you would? Your 2% of GDP, which Germany finally has turned the corner on that, right? Like, he's the one that applied all that pressure to strengthen NATO. So and also to stop NATO from continuing to move east, which was antagonizing Russia in the first place. He did all that shit, and now they've got the audacity, after Biden in 1 fucking year took us from energy independent and the largest producer of oil in the world to buying 600,000 barrels a fucking day, 18 million barrels a month from Russia. He did all of that shit and stopped giving the Ukraine the weapons to defend themselves that Trump had started. And he started that back up 6 days ago, by the way. Now he's taking credit for it. All of that shit happened, and they're still trying to blame Trump, a dude that hasn't been in office for a year.